Batman Begins is directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars Christian Bale, Katie Holmes, Liam Neeson, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Gary Oldman, and Cillian Murphy. Batman Begins is the retelling of the Batman story from Christopher Nolan. This is very much an origin story of the Batman character, as we know. We see Bruce Wayne's parents killed in the beginning of the movie when he's a kid, and as he grows older, despite the fact that he's very rich, he's a person that's filled with a lot of anger and guilt. He lives in Gotham City, where it's pretty much a shithole. It's at an all-time high in terms of crime, and it's very corrupt. And he eventually travels to Asia, so he learns how to fight evil with this group. Turns out this group is not exactly who they say they were, so he travels back to Gotham City, and he learns to fight crime by being Batman. And as the movie goes on, he realizes that he has a couple of threats coming his way, and inevitably he's going to have to face them. Batman Begins is a movie I have always appreciated because Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. I watched the animated show a lot as a kid. I even watched the live-action movies that came out before Batman Begins a lot as a kid. So Batman Begins is the first movie, in my opinion, to take Batman very seriously. It took a character and a comic book story and almost made it into a crime drama in a sense. Because when I was watching this movie, I forgot I was watching a movie about a man who has a caped costume, you know what I mean? I actually saw a character, and it, like I said, it takes the story very seriously, and I've never seen a Batman movie do that prior to Batman Begins. And Batman Begins is a reboot that came out 15 years ago, and since then, there's been a lot of franchises that have tried to reboot their own respective franchises, but it never really lived up to Batman Begins because despite the fact that each other reboot after Batman Begins tried to replicate it by being dark and gritty, it was always lacking the heart that Batman Begins had, because despite the fact that it's dark and gritty, there's also humor that works, and like I said, there's a lot of heart in Batman Begins. I love this movie so much. I think this is the best origin superhero film ever made. There's been some great ones, such as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Iron Man, and I'm sure there are a couple of other ones I just can't think of right now. But to me, none of them ever lived up to Batman Begins, because Batman Begins takes its time. You truly understand why Bruce Wayne eventually becomes Batman. You see the character development, and it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and it's deliberately placed, you know. It's not like he's Batman right away. He takes its time, and I think that's so beneficial because when he becomes Batman, you buy into it, and you're like, okay, this payoff has really, really succeeded for me, because if it was just rushed and he became Batman like that, then I don't think it would have been as effective in a dramatic sense, if you understand what I mean. But anyway, Batman Begins is absolutely incredible. The action scenes are so well directed. The third act is essentially one giant action sequence, and it's absolutely riveting. And from the A-list cast, you have Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman, who I love. You can see how angry, how guilty he feels because he blames himself for his parents' death, and you see how he trains rigorously, and it's just amazing to see. And as Batman, he's awesome. And yes, I love the voice. The voice, I know, has been made fun of. There's been memes of the voice, but you know what? I don't care. I think the voice works. I think it's great. Liam Neeson, I thought, was awesome in this movie too, as a mentor who eventually becomes a villain. You have Cillian Murphy, who I always thought was a very underrated actor. I think he has delivered his A game consistently over the years, but yet I feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He's awesome in this movie as Scarecrow. I think his introduction when he becomes a Scarecrow character, I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves, and it's a shame. This movie has a lot of villains, but it never feels like it has too many villains, you know what I mean? Christopher Nolan found a way to actually make every villain feel warranted in this movie, and that's one of the many things I love about Batman Begins too. Michael Caine, Katie Holmes, who I know has been criticized a lot for her performance in this movie, but I thought she was great too. Morgan Freeman, everyone's great. And this movie, essentially, I would highly recommend it to those who hasn't seen it somehow. I can't imagine, if you're watching this review, that you haven't seen this movie, because it came out 15 years ago. It's the first movie in a Dark Knight trilogy, and If you haven't seen it somehow, I would highly recommend it. You don't have to watch any show, any other Batman movie before Batman Begins, because Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is its own thing. You can go in not knowing who Batman is, and you'll be more than fine. This is a movie that's grounded in reality. It's not 100% realistic. There's some fantastical elements, but for the most part, it's probably the most realistic Batman you're going to get in terms of this and the other two Christopher Nolan movies, Batman movies. And yeah, I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said already, but this is incredible. It's the best superhero origin movie I've ever seen. I have no complaints about it. I've watched this movie many times and I never get tired of it. Batman Begins, to me, is a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie. It's an incredible superhero origin story. It's a great crime drama. I think this is a movie that is revolutionary in its own way because, like I said, it's inspired other franchises to try to reboot their own franchises, and some of them have worked and some of them haven't, but yeah, man, thanks to Batman Begins, people started to have faith again in Batman in terms of the live-action movies, because after Batman and Robin, people didn't want to see another Batman movie, or they were scared to, and Christopher Nolan came in and he was like, I'm going to give you guys something special, and that's exactly what he did. And yeah, that's my review of Batman Begins. 10 out of 10. Love this movie. Okay, guys, that's my review of Batman Begins. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be reviewing The Prestige next. Now, The Prestige to me is a very underappreciated movie, and I'm very glad I'm going to be talking about that next. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys next time. Alright, thanks guys. Stay safe. See ya.